Every time I post something good about Donald Trump, all you guys say is, what about January 6th? Well, guess what? January 6th, President Trump was not elected. Biden was in office. And so if there was any issues with things that should have been done
Hey, Marie, can you put me in touch with whoever ties your shoes in the morning? I would like a word, please. Marie, out of all the opinions about January 6th that have ever been posted on the internet, this is the dumbest one. Which is astounding, Marie, because you guys have been full of excuses for January 6th over the years. He told them to march peacefully. Antifa did this. They let them in. It was a day of love. And yet here we are, Marie. I guess now all it takes to debunk a Trump supporter is to whip out a goddamn calendar. But I hate to break it to you, Marie. Joe Biden was sworn in on January 20th. And guess what day January 6th happened on? Oh, you got it, Marie. On January 6th, when Trump was still very much the president. And as president, he did in fact have the power to stop what happened that day, but he chose not to. He chose to go to the White House and get out some snacks and turn on the TV and watch as his own goons attacked police officers for hours. And then after that, Marie, he pardoned all those violent criminals who were attacking police officers in his name over an election that he lost. This is the guy who you support, Marie. So yes, as long as you guys continue to support him, we will continue to remind you guys what he did that day. All right, Marie, just some quick advice. You might want to get yourself a calendar, learn how to read it, and maybe pick up a helmet. Might help with safety around the house. All right? Okay, good luck over there, Marie.
She told y'all they were deplorable, but y'all laughed and called her dramatic. Well, who's laughing now? From day one, Hillary said these people are racist, sexist, xenophobic, homophobic. She told y'all. But instead of listening, the media, they dogpiled her. Folks acted offended as if she hadn't just read the room. And now look where we are, baby. Election denial, insurrection, book ban, anti-LGBTQ legislation, folks threatening civil war on Facebook Live from their mama's basement. This is what she warned us about. This is a movement fueled by resentment, fear, and the desire to drag the country backward. But folks was too busy making but her emails merchandise. You might not like Hillary Clinton, and that's absolutely fine. But let's be real. She clocked it early because she was right.
I looked into MAGA to try and figure out where they're coming from, since most people I know come from MAGA households. And honestly, it sounds good on the surface. But once you actually fact check it, let's just say the flag starts looking a little faded. First, let's talk about immigration and the border. MAGA says we're being invaded. Build a wall. Protect American jobs and safety. But here's the thing. Most undocumented immigrants don't even sneak across the border. They come legally and overstay visas. And study after study show that immigrants commit less crime than US-born citizens. Now let's talk economy and trade. MAGA says Trump's tax cuts helped the economy and tariffs helped get jobs back. But reality says the 2017 tax cuts mostly helped billionaires and added trillions to the deficit. And those tariffs, they tanked US farms and raised prices at Walmart. So if your groceries cost more, think the trade wars. Moving on to energy and climate. MAGA says, drill baby drill, energy independence. But the US was already the top oil and gas producer. Like, we didn't need more drilling. Meanwhile, renewable energy is cheaper, growing faster, and creating new jobs. On to culture wars. MAGA says, we're protecting kids from woke indoctrination. We're pro-life. We're protecting the Second Amendment. Overturning Roe v. Wade took away rights the majority of Americans actually support. And most people, even people who own guns, want basic gun safety laws. So whose freedom are they really protecting? And last, let's talk about foreign policy and America first. MAGA says, why pay for NATO or Ukraine? Let's stop endless wars. America first. Sounds nice until you realize NATO keeps us out of wars by having allies. Pulling back leaves power vacuums for Russia and China. America first kinda turns into America alone. So yeah, on the surface, MAGA seems patriotic and simple. But dig a little deeper and the policies either don't add up or they actually hurt the people they're promising to help. If you're gonna say America first, maybe start with the truth first.
The great irony of the MAGA movement is that the two things they proudly profess to be, patriots and Christian, are the two things they literally couldn't be further from. And I am a Christian and a lifelong Republican who left the party in March when Trump won the nomination, so I've watched this thing from the beginning. On the patriot front, patriots fight for our democracy, not to overthrow it. And everyone in MAGA world says, oh, January 6th wasn't an insurrection. But January 6th was just the distraction. The fake elector scheme was how they were going to overthrow our government. And what's worst of all is that their symbol is an upside-down American flag. After all of Trump's ranting about how much he loves the flag and even his criticism of the athletes who took a knee during the anthem, to fly our flag upside down, there's nothing patriotic about this MAGA movement. They don't respect the peaceful transfer of power, they don't respect the justice system, and they walk all over the foundation of what makes America great in the first place. And Christian, don't even get me started. First, they picked the most despicable human being on the face of the earth to be their poster child. And second, just look at the platform. They want to ban voting drop boxes, ban CRT, ban DEI, ban abortion, ban IVF, ban books, ban Muslims, ban immigrants, ban LGBT rights. But you know what they don't want to ban? The ability of corporations to rip you off, to pollute the environment, to pay virtually no taxes, and to pay you peanuts. It's like the exact opposite of what Jesus would do. I'm a conservative Christian, like I said before, and I do live by a moral standard. But nowhere in my faith does Jesus tell me to impose my morals on others. Or better yet, sacrifice my moral integrity to elect an immoral leader to gain political power so that I can impose my morals on others. How twisted is that? The Lord is not a God of force. He's a God of choice. He invites all to come to him, but never through coercion. It's not God's way, and it's not the American way. It's unchristian and it's unpatriotic, and there's no place for it in the land of the free.
Hello everyone, it's Anthony. Welcome back again to my YouTube channel. It's nice having you here. What's a nice evening I'm enjoying. So today we are seeing about the things we tried to warn MAGA in real life happening. So what really stands me most is that despite MAGA seeing the red signs, they still voted for Trump, and Trump is implementing whatever he said he will do. So let's continue watching and make our conclusions later.
Democrats want to give away $1.4 billion of free motherfucking money to the immigrants for health care. And if not, if the other side don't agree with it, they talking about shutting down the motherfucking government. Why the fuck do you bitches fight so hard for everybody but your own motherfucking people? I'm sorry, those folks weren't supposed to be here to begin with. I don't really give two flying fucks. What about us? What about us motherfuckers who struggle to pay for health care?
Yeah, a lot of you guys are saying that on the social medias here, and you're all wrong. Giving money and or free health care to undocumented immigrants is not what the Democrats are proposing. It's not too often that a legacy media outlet will just outright debunk a claim from one side or the other, but the New York Times in this case did, explaining the GOP's misleading talking point on the looming shutdown. This is what the Democrats are actually looking to do. The Democrats' budget proposal seeks to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies set to expire at the end of the year and roll back Medicaid cuts in the tax cut and domestic policy law signed by President Trump in July. But the proposal does not provide free health care for unauthorized immigrants. Black and white. In fact, unauthorized immigrants are largely barred from federally funded health care programs. They cannot buy health care plans on government exchanges set up by the Affordable Care Act, and therefore cannot receive any subsidies. They are also ineligible for Medicaid, Medicare, and the Children's Health Insurance Program. The Democrats' budget proposal does not make them eligible for these programs. What has happened is that you and other MAGA creators on other social media platforms have fallen for the lie that the Republican leadership is peddling. Unauthorized immigrants are not eligible for federal funds for health care. Full stop. And the Democrats are not looking to change that. What they have proposed does not change that. However, you and I agree on one point. We don't think that Americans should struggle to pay for health insurance, right? I agree with you. That's why you agree with me in saying that we should have universal health care. Now, yes, it's true. We would need a new tax to pay for that. We would need all to pay into a health tax. But we would eliminate health insurance, and therefore no more health insurance premiums, which you and I agree are too high, right? So what difference does it make what we call it? You show me a health tax that's cheaper than my health insurance premiums because everyone's paying into the health tax. Give me the cheaper option, especially if it means that you and I and everybody else gets health care coverage. Mind blown. You and I both want universal health care.
You know, I think a lot of people on the left are just really reaching their limit of patience and understanding and grace when it comes to having to justify or defend MAGA opinions or Donald Trump opinions that are just racist or misogynist or xenophobic. And I think we're at/beyond the point that we need to tiptoe around feelings. I'm not saying to go be dicks to people. What I'm saying is, I don't think we need to tiptoe around reality anymore. And we need to call out aggressively and specifically racism, misogyny, xenophobia, any other kind of hate, hate against the LGBTQIA plus community. Like, these aren't differences of opinion. These are differences of reality, differences of morality, and, you know, there's a lot of gray area for a lot of different things, right? But for certain things, like racism is wrong. That's not debatable. That's just true, and that's just the fact. The fact is, we have a president in power right now, and his administration and his loyal supporters, who are extremely racist, misogynistic, xenophobic, and lead with hate from everything that I've seen. In my own personal experience and my observations of the world at large, that's the thing. So we need to stop pussyfooting around and call it like it is. Call a spade a spade. Call a racist a racist.
All these MAGAs screaming and crying in their cars with their backward baseball caps, yelling, "This is it, this is war, we ride at dawn," to wear a Cracker Barrel. To do what? Be violent? You already are. I'm not even going to waste numbers and statistics proving that the majority of incidents in this country come from right-wing extremists, because facts and figures hurt your feelings. But I am going to say that I am absolutely fascinated at all this energy and outrage for a grifter who was paid millions of dollars by the Koch brothers to lie and spread hatred and division every day. Because where is all that energy for first graders sitting quietly in a classroom or in a church? I don't see a single performative tear for them. Where are those dry eyeball tears for Democratic lawmakers and their family and their dog sleeping peacefully in their homes? Not a single tear for Capitol Police officers on January 6th? No, but now it's very convenient for you, because now you get to put all of your energy into hating one half of the country instead of putting your energy into where it should be going, which is, like, for example, you're all losing your farms just so a company that Couchboy invested in can buy them up on the cheap. And the orange clown that you worship is all over those files and all over a very disturbing birthday book. Meanwhile, this regime that you have given up everything for is promising you transparency while playing directly in your face. Because the orange clown is sitting there just this morning at a memorial with what can only be described as very severe stroke face. He can barely keep his eyes open. And meanwhile, this regime releases a very bizarrely edited and very suspiciously AI-looking video of the orange clown suddenly sitting there speaking very coherently about this tragedy. I personally would be outraged by that. But I didn't vote for this. And while you were so conveniently outraged, let me remind you this happened in a very red state with very loose laws where you can conceal and carry in a school. We did not do that. While you all twist yourselves into pretzels, wanting to believe that all of the people that you hate support what happened, let me remind you, it's not relevant. Because at the end of the day, Charlie supported what happened. And so do you.
You all, nice watching these videos. So tell me in the comment section, maybe I'm wrong. When did illegal immigrants have access to government healthcare? When did they have access to government insurance? Because from where I stand, or from what I know, I've never heard of such a thing. So Trump is using MAGA what? Let's call it not stupidity but ignorance. MAGA ignorance to his advantage.
The Party of Family Values has struck again. A MAGA Republican and former South Carolina State Representative Robert John May III has been arrested and pleaded guilty to distributing CSAM. This guy is married and has 2 children. He's also one of the co-founders of the conservative group in the state house known as the Freedom Caucus. The investigation began when officials received a cyber tip from a social messaging app, Kik, where the guy was using an alias Joe Biden 69. They connected this account to May's home via IP address and mobile device. They confirmed that at least 10 videos depicting CSAM were shared from this guy's account. Following his arrest, he was suspended without pay and resigned on August 11th. On Wednesday, this guy had the nerve to file several motions, including a request to dismiss evidence and relocate his trial out of Colombia. He challenged the search warrant for his home and phone and accused investigators of inconsistencies. However, his guilty plea was filed on Friday but still needs to be approved by a judge today. If approved, the judge will decide if he is going to face consecutive or concurrent sentences. Each charge carries a sentence of 5 to 20 years and a maximum fine of $250,000. I hope this guy goes away for the maximum amount of time possible. It seems like every other week there's another story coming out where Republicans are doing terrible things to children, and Fox News is absolutely quiet.
Screw the Republican Party. I've been a Republican since I was 18 years old. I'm 62 now, and I'm embarrassed to say I've stuck it out this long. The last 10 years have been enough of this crap. Support me. Hit all those buttons on the right-hand side of your screen. Follow me. Leave me a comment. Repost this. Every Republican that I know right now, I'm trying to get flipped over to the Democratic Party. Join me in this effort, please. It's the only way we're going to get these idiots out of office.
So MAGA doesn't like to be called fascist. And so I think it's time to explain why we call them fascist and then resume calling them fascist. And in fact, in protest, we should call them fascist more often. Now, I know you all aren't much for academics, but there is a scholar named Roger Griffin, and his definition of fascism is the most widely accepted. So you tell me if it fits. There are 7 elements of this, and the first element is the myth of a national rebirth. The idea of rescuing a nation from decay and corruption and restoring it to its former glory, a glory that really never existed. The second element is ultra-nationalism. So everything you do in society must serve that ultimate good. And this is where you typically get outsiders like immigrants or the trans community excluded from society as a whole. The third element is anti-liberalism. This is a rejection of democracy, pluralism, and individual rights. They see politics as a struggle where compromise is betrayal. They are anti-communist and anti-socialist. Don't get confused with names like National Socialist because it's meant to confuse. This includes adopting mass mobilization tactics, so like parades, rallies, and youth groups. The fifth one is what everybody thinks of, and that's a cult leader and an authoritarian state. They glorify a single leader as the embodiment of the national will. So anything that's good for that nation is associated with what's good for that leader. Democracy is then replaced with a hierarchical state. 6 is militarism and violence as a virtue. And this might seem confusing given the events of this week, but don't let them fool you. Remember, 70% of the political violence in this country is right-wing, much of that promoted by the president himself. For them, violence is to be used as a cleansing force to restore society. This is where a lot of the law and order rhetoric comes in. Now, there is a non-violent version of authoritarianism that's not this, but I'm not sure that type of leadership would be changing a department to the Department of War. And then what really captures everybody is this combination of tradition and modernity. So you can have really advanced technology, but with a return to sort of a patriarchal order. So you make people feel like they're moving forward, they're progressing when they're really not. So you tell me, does the shoe fit?
Surprise! Everything good has an ending. And this is the end of this video. So from what I've watched, because I've watched every clip, it's amazing how these all commentators try to bring the issue of MAGA ignorance in light. Because from what I know, Trump would never lie to learned people. And that is the reason he is defunding education. And that's why they ensure that ignorant people such as Ryan Waters are in charge of education in Republican states. Get me right. It's all systematic, it's all planned. What Republicans want to do is defund education across these red states and maybe some blue states where there is some split votes. So that's what they want, because they know ignorant people would not make better judgments. They will never. That's why you're seeing people claiming that Trump is a Christian because maybe they even don't read the Bible, or they don't know how to read the Bible, and if they read, they don't know how to translate the Bible, because Trump is nothing closer to a Christian. They claim that Trump is a conservative. Trump was a Democrat. Trump was a Democrat who was kicked out of the party. So if you see this guy as well, in 1995, Trump claimed that if he wanted to run for presidency, he would do so on a Republican ticket because Republicans are stupid. Not my words. Trump. That's what Trump said. Trump said if he was ever to become a president, he will do so on a Republican ticket. Because guess what? You can't fool Democrats. It's very hard to fool people who have gone through education system, because they can make better judgments. Trump claimed that the economy is bad because of immigrants. He said so. And then he did some massive deportations. Trump said that economy is bad because of tariffs. He has placed tariffs. Has our lives gotten any better? Has it? Because mine hasn't. And the viewers ask, tell me in the comment section, has your life gotten better after deportations and this issue of tariffs? The other day, Pete Hexbread called the military generals to Virginia, and he literally was lecturing them. People who have sacrificed their lives for our country for decades, being lectured by a drunkard from Fox News, claiming that women don't have a place in our military. The same women who are obliterating Russians in Ukraine, the same women who have served in Iraq, in Afghanistan, name them. Women have no place in our military. Literally, women contributed greatly to our win during World War II. If you read this well, something which MAGA doesn't do. And I saw some MAGA commentators really celebrating this whole issue. Our country is deteriorating bit by bit, and we won't notice it because we have majority of ignorance people in our country who don't like questioning anything. And there's something I usually say: one of the things that will make America collapse, United States collapse, is because the intelligent let the fools lead. Fact. The intelligent people in the US gave the fools. Until the next video, tell me what you think about this in the comment section. I'll be reading and we'll be discussing with fellow viewers about the state of our nation and the way forward. And the guys, let's engage in these town halls. And if there are special elections in our place, let's be getting out and vote. Because as I usually say, one of the reasons the fools lead is because the intelligence let them do so. So let's not watch as our country is led to pits. We are really headed toward a cliff at full speed. And our President Trump doesn't know where the brakes are off, or if he knows, he doesn't have the incentive to step on them. We have a government shutdown. We have a government shutdown happening at the moment because our president is too childish, likes drama, and is not willing to negotiate.